Did you know that Asia is literally the largest continent on Earth? We're talking about a landmass covering over 31 million square kilometers. It's so unfathomably huge that it holds some of the most dramatic extremes in climate, geography, and culture on the entire planet. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive straight into this immense scale and count down the top 10 largest countries in Asia. We'll be looking at everything from massive landlocked steppes to tropical archipelagos to really grasp the sheer size of these geographic giants.
But before we actually kick off the countdown, we kind of have to address the elephant in the room. What even defines Asia's borders? It's not as straightforward as you might think. When you rank the largest countries here, you immediately run into the puzzle of transcontinental countries. These are sovereign states, like Russia and Turkey, that have massive amounts of land in Asia, but are also frequently grouped in with Europe. Now, for the sake of our explainer today, we are absolutely including these transcontinental titans so you get the complete, unrestricted picture of the Asian landmass.
Just look at this breakdown for a second to really understand the scale we're dealing with. A handful of these Asian countries take up a shocking percentage of the Earth's total area. Russia alone accounts for over 11%, and China over 6%. Together, these nations cover wildly diverse biomes, stretching all the way from the freezing Siberian tundra up north down to the steaming equatorial jungles of Indonesia. All right, with that sense of scale in mind, let's start the countdown.
Section 1. The Crossroads. Here are numbers 10 and 9.
Coming in at number 10 is Turkey, spanning a vast 783,562 square kilometers. This is our first transcontinental country on the list, effectively anchoring the far western edge of the Asian continent. What's really cool is how Turkey's unique position totally shapes its environment. Sitting right there at the intersection of two continents, it boasts extensive coastlines along the Black, Marmara, and Aegean Seas. Because of the strategic placement and its incredibly varied terrain, Turkey is a massive haven for wildlife. It's home to an astonishing 80,000 different animal species. It's literally a living, breathing ecological bridge.
Moving right along to number 9, we find Pakistan, covering just over 882,000 square kilometers. Now, while that might seem a bit small compared to the massive slices of the pie we saw earlier, I promise you, Pakistan's geography is anything but modest.
The key thing to know about Pakistan is its extreme verticality. You've got highly diverse ecosystems going from coastal areas up to some of the most rugged, dramatic terrain on Earth. This creates incredible biodiversity. In fact, Pakistan features 5 staggering mountain peaks that tower over 8,000 meters high. It's a country absolutely defined by breathtaking elevations.
Section 2 brings us to Ancient Lands and Islands, numbers 8, 7, and 6.
Jumping into the number 8 spot, the land area practically doubles as we hit Mongolia, covering a massive 1.56 million square kilometers. Tucked entirely between Russia and China, Mongolia actually holds the title of the world's second largest landlocked nation. Its landscape is beautifully open and wide, famous for those vast grassland steppes and, of course, the massive expanse of the Gobi Desert.
Right next up at number 7 is Iran, a sprawling 1.64 million square kilometer nation. It's defined by huge mountain ranges and basins across the Iranian plateau. But beyond just its physical size, Iran preserves an unbelievable density of human history. It actually holds the 3rd largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in all of Asia. So it's a massive footprint of both natural wonders and ancient civilization.
At number 6 is Indonesia, spanning 1.9 million square kilometers. But unlike the solid landmasses we just talked about, Indonesia's area is totally fractured into an astonishing 17,000 individual islands.
And that brings us to a really fascinating geographical concept. Indonesia is the world's largest archipelagic state because its land is spread across so many islands, especially heavily populated ones like Sumatra, Celebes, and Java. It creates a super unique national dynamic. Despite being broken up by ocean waters, this collective landmass relies heavily on massive agricultural endeavors across its rich volcanic soils to support its booming population. Entering the top 5, we have Section 3, the resource giants.
Number 5 is Saudi Arabia, and we are officially crossing the 2 million mark. Spanning 2.14 million square kilometers, it's easily the largest country in the Middle East. While it's dominated by vast, sweeping deserts, it's strategically sandwiched between the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea. And of course, beneath that immense territory sits a staggering amount of natural resources, making it the world's leading oil exporter.
Moving to number 4, we have the Central Asian giant, Kazakhstan, covering an enormous 2.7 million square kilometers. Now, remember earlier when I said Mongolia was the second largest landlocked nation? Well, Kazakhstan takes the global crown. It is the single largest landlocked nation on the planet. It's famous for the Kazakh steppe, the world's largest arid steppe region, which is essentially a seemingly endless horizon of dry grasslands.
Breaking into the top 3, Section 4, the subcontinent.
Claiming the number 3 spot is India. Spanning 3.28 million square kilometers, India isn't just a country, it's practically its own geographic subcontinent. The terrain here is mind-bogglingly diverse. We're talking everything from the arid sands of the Thar Desert to the towering, snow-capped peaks of the massive Himalayas. And across this profoundly diverse 3.28 million square kilometer landscape lives a booming population of over 1.4 billion people.
And finally, Section 5, the Big Two, and a return to our transcontinental debate.
Here we are at the climax of our explainer. Number 2 is China, spanning an incredible 9.59 million square kilometers. From the Gobi Desert to subtropical forests, China is the undisputed largest country situated entirely within Asia's borders. But taking the number 1 spot is Russia, a nation so unimaginably large at 17.1 million square kilometers overall that it simply spills across 2 continents.
You know, when people argue online about whether Russia belongs to Europe or Asia, one user really hit the nail on the head. They just wrote, "To me, it's such a large country, it's both." And geographically speaking, they're totally right. Its sheer size makes it both. Even if we play strict geographer and only count the land east of the Ural Mountains, Russia's Asian portion alone covers a mind-bending 13.1 million square kilometers. Think about that. That Asian portion by itself is significantly larger than all of China. It's so vast, it stretches across 11 different time zones. Whether you view it as transcontinental or pure Asian, Russia easily takes the number 1 crown. So just take a second to look at this recap of the staggering land masses we've explored today. From Turkey at the western crossroads all the way up through the massive multi-million square kilometer expanses of Indonesia, India, and China, straight up to the 13.1 million square kilometer Asian footprint of Russia. The scale is honestly a little hard to wrap your head around, isn't it? From sweeping arid steppes to lush tropical archipelagos, Asia is truly massive in every sense of the word. But as our global climate shifts and populations continue to boom, how will the sheer immense scale of these 10 titans shape the future of our entire planet? I want to know, which of these gigantic Asian countries surprised you the most? Think about it and make sure to subscribe for more geography facts. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.